Welcome to Greek Verse a Day. Today we're translating the second half of Revelation 2:5. As always, you should be working from your reader's edition of the Greek New Testament and using the screen as a resource. We'll do a slow reading, a fast reading, give you a moment to pause and wrestle with the translation yourself before I jump in and give you some help. So let's start with our slow reading. E de me erkomai soy kai kineso ten luknion su ek tu tapu autes eon me metana eses. One more time, a little bit faster here. E de me erkomai soy kai kineso ten luknion su ek tu tapu autes eon me metana eses. All right, so at this point, you should go ahead and pause the video, take a look at your reader's edition, and see what you can translate from the verse. So it's helpful for your translation if you remember what came previously in Revelation 2:5a. There, the one standing in the middle of the seven lampstands with the seven stars in his right hand had commanded the church in Ephesus to do three different things. If we look back to our text, the three different imperatives, which is the mood of command, were mane manue, so remember. So he told them, remember from where you fell. The next command was metanaeson, repent. And the third command was poieson, to make, kai ta prota erga, to make your previous work. So return to what you were doing before. So all of that sort of is in the background when we come to this little phrase right here. E de me, literally if, but not. We can translate this sort of colloquially unless. So the reason that de is the second word here, so we're more accustomed maybe to seeing a and may right next to each other, meaning if not. And the de is stuck in there between the two because it can't come first in a sentence. It is, what's the fancy word? That's right, it's post-positive, so it can't be de a may, it has to be a de may. And then so but unless, or maybe something like if not, if you don't do all of those commands that I gave you in Revelation 2:5a, this is the stuff that is, or this is the stuff, this is going to be a reminder, sort of going back to this. This is the stuff that is going to happen. So what's going to happen is erkomai, I come. Notice we have an present active, not present active, present middle indicative, first person singular, and this is a deponent verb. It uses those middle endings to be active. I come soy. Notice we have with our iota here a dative. We might translate this I come to you. That would be the sort of most natural sense of the dative, or one of the sense of the dative that we're really accustomed to. This would be called the locative sense of the dative. It's the dative meaning a location. I come to you. Another way that we might translate it is what is called a category called the dative of disadvantage. I'm going to write this down. I'm going to put a line between dis and vantage because you can also have a dative of advantage, of something good. So in this sense, if we take it as a dative of disadvantage, it'd be something like I come against you. And as I said, this is a present tense verb. It's not a future tense verb, which gives a sense of immediacy to it. So if not, if you don't do these things, I'm coming against you. Notice that even in English, we can communicate the sense of immediacy with the present tense. I'm coming against you, or I'm coming for you. Even though the action is actually thought of as happening in the future, putting it into the present tense makes it a little bit more immediate. So the way that I think about the present tense here, I'm coming for you, I think of it sort of as a defensive lineman getting ready to sort of try and get to a quarterback right before the play's gonna start. He gives the trash talk. He's, I'm coming for you. Even though presently he's not actually coming for the quarterback. He's just waiting for the play to start. That's sort of what's going on here with the present tense. If you don't do these things, if you don't repent, I'm coming for you. Kai kineso. And here we do actually have a future tense. So this is going to be a future active indicative, first person singular, from kineo, which means I move. So I will move. And notice that it's not remove or destroy. And what is moved is tein luknion su. If you remember back to earlier in Revelation 1, we saw this word often. It's the word for lampstand. So I will move your lampstand. And I think it's important that we note that it's move and not remove or destroy, because John really likes things, good things, to be in sevens. So if the lampstand were to be destroyed or removed altogether, then you would have only 6 lampstands, and 6 is not a good number in Revelation, as you well know. So, and I will move your lampstand. We have this prepositional phrase, ek tu tapu autes, from the place of it. So notice autes is our personal pronoun. It's going to be here a genitive feminine singular. And remember, when you have a pronoun is going to have an antecedent, a thing that is referring back to, and it's going to match its antecedent in 2 things. Do you remember what the 2 things that a pronoun must match its antecedent in? That's right, it is in gender and in number, but it does not have to match in case, because the case of the pronoun is determined by how it's functioning in a clause. So here it's functioning to show possession, its place. And it matches, so this word, its antecedent is luknion, which is an accusative feminine singular. So here, the luknion is in the accusative case because it's the object of this verb here. But we do have, let's go ahead and write this down just so we can visualize it. We do have a match in the gender and the number, the feminine and the singular. So the autes is referring back to the luknion, which it matches in gender and a number. And then we have this separate conditional clause right here. And it's a conditional clause with the subjunctive. So when you see aon, which is a combination of a plus on, remember this word is the word for if, and this is a conditional particle, which gives sort of contingency to an action. But when you see eon, you can often expect to find the subjunctive after it, and that is exactly what we have with the subjunctive negated with may. Remember, the non-indicative moods get negated by may, whereas the indicative moods, the negative particle is u. So the may is here because this is a subjunctive. So our parsing information for our subjunctive here, and I do a squiggly line under subjunctives if I mark a text, because the subjunctive, remember, is the mood of possibility or probability, whereas a straight line indicates something sort of final and actual. In the indicative mood, indicates something. A squiggle to me indicates something that's possible or may or may not happen. So anyway, our parsing information here is going to be aorist, active, subjunctive, second person singular, because remember the angel over the church of Ephesus is the one doing all this action. From meta noeo, which means repent. So unless aeon may, that combination, we can, if not, we sort of smooth over into unless you repent. So it's sort of a recapitulation. This phrase down here, unless you repent, is sort of a recapitulation of what is up here, which is ultimately referring back to what happened earlier in Revelation 2:5a. So let's put it all back together. Unless or if you don't do these things, if you don't do those commands, I'm coming for you, and I'll move your lampstand from its place unless you repent.